Here at COP22, representing UKYCC, we just heard John Kerry's press statement, and in light of Donald Trump's recent election, there's loads to think about.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in Marrakesh, in the next hours, let us make clear to the world that we will always remember the stakes. Let us stand firm in support of the goals that we set in Paris and recommit ourselves to double our efforts to meet them. Let us say that when it comes to climate change, we will commit not just to doing our best, but as Winston Churchill admonished, we will do what is required. I look forward to working with you in this important work for whatever number of years ahead I have a chance to. Thank you.
Yes, it was a good speech. He delivered it very well. At the same time, I've heard it before. I've heard this all before, and a lot of me is thinking, how can this be true? Can I trust this? Can I believe in this? And the proof will really be when action is taken.
So I think that his words were really strong, but at the same time left me really scared, because when you look at the national context, I mean, right now activists and indigenous peoples are fighting against the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline, which is a massive pipeline that is going to go across America and destroy sacred lands, destroy beautiful lands, just to bring fossil fuels from one place to the other. And as he kept on repeating in his speech, in today's conditions, it doesn't make sense to invest in fossil fuels because the full cost of fossil fuel infrastructure projects are just too high. And he kept on saying, yes, it's really good to invest in renewable energy projects, but at the same time we need to reduce our investments in fossil fuels. So why isn't he doing that back home? And it left me really scared, because if someone like him, you know, is guilty of cognitive dissonance, then what is going to happen with Donald Trump?
And it's left me feeling really sad and scared about what's going to happen, because even though I don't want to get sucked into all the rhetoric that he was saying about how amazing the US has been or whatever, I do recognise that US and China leadership was so crucial in getting the Paris Agreement to the state that it was in when we left Paris, and that I just know that now that Donald Trump's elected, we're not going to have anyone speaking like that. We're certainly not going to have anyone speaking like that from the US, and probably not from the UK either, because right now we just don't have anyone in our government who can speak with any kind of passion about climate change. So it's just left me feeling really unsure about how this process. People in the room were like desperate to have that kind of like empowered, passionate speech from someone. Like, we were sitting surrounded by the heads of different delegations, and they were all standing on their feet and clapping because they need someone to kind of keep pushing this process along. They work on it as hard as we do, some of these civil servants. So I just am wondering what's going to happen and where that leadership's going to come from.
But I think the message is not the end of the road for the fight against climate change, and despite Donald Trump's election in the US, there is still so much work to do. It was also a real reality check on the ground, because despite Kerry's really empowering speech and convictions in the US, there's still so many fights on the ground happening against pipelines. In the UK, the government has just approved a third runway at Heathrow. It's also given the go-ahead for fracking in Lancashire. These are fights that we need to continue working on, and it's not the end of the road for us.